Hello, and welcome back to our channel. Today we're diving into the extraordinary life of a man whose name is synonymous with genius, Albert Einstein. But his story is more than just equations. It's a journey of a dreamer who dared to see the universe in a completely new light. Our story begins on March 14, 1879, in the quiet German city of UML. When Albert was born, his parents, Hermann and Pauline, had no idea their son would one day redefine human understanding of reality. As a toddler, Albert was a late talker, which worried his family. But his silence wasn't empty. It was filled with deep thought and observation. He would spend hours lost in his own world, questioning everything around him. A single moment at age 5 would change his life forever. His father gave him a small compass, and Albert was mesmerized. He couldn't understand how the needle always pointed north, guided by some invisible force. This simple toy ignited a lifelong obsession with the unseen powers that govern the universe. Yet at school, this curious mind didn't fit in. His teachers called him lazy, uninterested, and even a failure. He hated the rigid rules and wrote memorization. He wanted to think freely, to solve puzzles his own way. This independent spirit, so misunderstood in his youth, would become the very foundation of his genius. As a teenager, Einstein's family moved to Switzerland. And there, he finally found a place that nurtured his creativity. He enrolled at the Polytechnic School in Zurich, immersing himself in mathematics and physics. But even after graduating, life wasn't easy. He struggled to find a teaching job and ended up working as a clerk at the Swiss Patent Office in Bern. What seemed like a mundane job turned out to be a blessing in disguise. It gave him a steady income, and more importantly, the time and mental space to ponder the deepest mysteries of the universe. And ponder he did. The year 1905, when Einstein was just 26, would go down in history as his Annus Mirabilis, or Miracle Year. In just a few months, he published 4 revolutionary papers that would shake the world of physics. One of these introduced his special theory of relativity, posing the radical idea that time and space are not absolute but are relative to the observer. And from this theory emerged the most famous equation in history, E equals mc. This elegant formula revealed the profound connection between energy and matter, unlocking a new era of science. But Einstein was just getting started. 10 years later, in 1915, he unveiled his masterpiece, the general theory of relativity. This was an even more profound achievement. He described gravity not as a mysterious force pulling objects together, but as the curvature of space and time itself. Imagine the universe as a giant fabric. Massive objects like stars and planets create dips and curves in this fabric, and these curves guide the paths of everything else. It was a mind-bending idea, and it was spectacularly confirmed in 1919 during a solar eclipse. Scientists observed that light from distant stars actually bent as it passed the sun, just as Einstein had predicted. Overnight, he became a global celebrity, hailed as the successor to Isaac Newton. In 1921, he was awarded the Nobel Prize in Physics. But surprisingly, it wasn't for his famous theories of relativity. Instead, it was for his explanation of the photoelectric effect, which demonstrated that light can behave as both a wave and a particle. This discovery was crucial. It laid the foundation for quantum mechanics and paved the way for technologies we rely on every day, from solar panels to digital cameras. But Einstein was so much more than a brilliant scientist. He was a man of deep conscience and humanity. As the dark clouds of Nazi Germany gathered in the 1930s, Einstein, who was Jewish, left Europe for the United States. He took up a position at the Institute for Advanced Study in Princeton, New Jersey, which became his home for the rest of his life. A committed pacifist, he was deeply troubled by the prospect of war. Although he warned President Roosevelt about the potential for nuclear weapons, leading to the Manhattan Project, he refused to participate in building the atomic bomb. He firmly believed science should be used to serve peace, not destruction. In America, Einstein also became a powerful voice for civil rights. He was appalled by the racism and segregation he witnessed. Calling it America's worst disease, he courageously spoke out against injustice and actively supported civil rights leaders like W.E.B. Du Bois. For Einstein, the pursuit of justice and equality was just as fundamental as the search for scientific truth. He understood that a better world required not just brilliant minds, but compassionate hearts. Despite his monumental fame, Einstein's personality was refreshingly down-to-earth. He lived a simple life, often seen wandering around Princeton in an old sweater with his famously untamed, wild hair. He had a playful spirit, a wonderful sense of humor, and a deep love for sailing. He famously said, "Imagination is more important than knowledge. For knowledge is limited, whereas imagination encircles the world." This wasn't just a clever quote. It was the guiding principle of his entire life, both in and out of the lab. He believed that true breakthroughs come not from what we already know, but from what we dare to imagine. In his later years, Einstein dedicated himself to a final, grand quest, the search for a unified field theory. He dreamed of a single, elegant theory that could unite all the fundamental forces of nature into one beautiful explanation. He never found it, but his relentless pursuit inspired generations of physicists who continue this quest today. His work showed that even in failure, the journey of discovery is what truly matters. Albert Einstein passed away on April 18, 1955, but his legacy is immortal. He left behind theories that completely reshaped our understanding of the cosmos, from black holes and the Big Bang to the GPS in our phones. But perhaps his greatest gift was a lesson in how to live. He taught us that curiosity is a superpower, that imagination knows no bounds, and that we must always pursue truth with humility and a sense of responsibility to one another. His life is a powerful reminder that greatness often comes not from following the rules, but from daring to break them. Through every struggle and every triumph, Albert Einstein showed us that a single curious mind can quite literally change the world. He proved that imagination truly does encircle the universe. Thank you so much for watching. If you were inspired by Einstein's incredible story, please hit that like button. And don't forget to subscribe for more journeys into the lives of history's greatest minds. See you next time.